This is a quick video on using the art and design InDesign template. So if I jump to Microsoft Word for a second, I've got all my writing. You can do it in any Word document, text editor. It doesn't really matter because all we're doing is cutting and pasting text. So you have to keep this format. Title, we've got our write-up. With Microsoft Word, I can highlight things. I can see down the bottom here the word count, so 318. That's good. And then underneath that, so there's no extra spaces or anything like that. I've got figures, then figure 1, going through these images, and then it'll go into the lino cutting process in this case. So I'm just actually going to select this down to the lino cutting. So this is really just all the research side of things. I'll copy that, Command C, so I've copied it. Now I'll jump into InDesign. So this is the template that I've opened up. What we're going to open is under Window, if it's not already open, you'll have Styles, and you bring up these style sheets. If you go Paragraph Styles, it will usually bring up the character ones as well, and I'll explain this in a minute. So it's all kind of set up here. We've got one folder that's for the process, in this case the lino printing, close that, and then the first one, which is the kind of research, and we have our style. So we'll do this first. So on the template, there's a few things like your name. You can just highlight and put it in, change that text, and whatever your ID number is. And I'm going to go down to the arts and crafts movement. I'm going to save this so you can see it. So if I go save as, what I want you to notice is that on the desktop here, I've made a folder. In that folder, I've got the template, the InDesign file. I've got the Microsoft Word document in my case, and then a folder called images. And these are all the images I'm going to use in the document. Now, everything is in a one folder. This is important because you can lose links when you're on InDesign. So I have that. I'll come down here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in an image. So this is first page here, Arts and Crafts. We've got the title, and this is just a kind of hero image. So if I click on the square and I go File, Place, I find my great big hero image. Where are we? Art and Design, Images. I've named it Hero, so I know which one it is. I'll go Open, and I can have it this size, or I can spin it around. Now, a couple of things. If I click on this image, what you'll see is it has a blue square. This means it's selected the box. If I move the box, it's going to crop it in because it's only dealing with the box. Undo that. If I click on the circle, I'll actually see a brown square, and if I reduce down by using Command minus, I'll see the square all the way out here. Now, this is the image. So if I move this using the Shift key, it's moving the image inside that box. I can rotate it. I can click it, drag it, scale it, Command 0 to put it back in the window, and perfect it so it's working within that box. Click outside, that one's done. If I want to view things without all these lines over it, just hit the W key. With nothing selected, just hit W, and it shows you it without all those lines. W again will bring the lines back. So let's have a look at the images again. Click on this first one, file place. So I've got an image here of Morris. I'll bring him in. It's only a small image, so that's fine. I'll just option means it's going to go from the center. Shift means it's going to keep its proportions. Move them down. I want to put it at the top of his head. Good. Okay, I'll go on to the next one. And I'll bring in an image of the Industrial Revolution. This also looks like a image is about the right size, so that's all fine. Go to the next one. What else have I got? Red House. This one needs to be a wee bit bigger. Okay, last one, Crystal Palace. Sometimes, and I'll do this here, sometimes you can have an image that comes in absolutely huge depending on how you've saved it. If that happens, you'll find that in the properties, if you can't find the properties, you'll find it up under here, window, properties. You'll find down here there's frame fitting, and you can see this one here, the image fits the width. This one, it fits the height. We want the width because we want it to fill. So these will work in that way. So if an image comes in, rather than going through that whole process of scaling, you can do that. Now this is going to be your main kind of hero image here. So this is, I think I've got cabinet. Yeah. And that looks pretty good. I can either scale it up so it fits that whole border, or if I click outside, remember I've got that blue frame, I might just suck the blue frame into these inner margins. That looks quite nice. Okay, so now for a bit of text. Now you're going to notice when you click here, there's two text boxes. These text boxes will be linked. Remember, I think I cut the text before I copied it. So if I go get the type tool, click in it, and go paste, it's going to paste all the text in. Looks terrible at the moment. That's fine. So I can click in here and go Command A. So it selects all of my text. Close this. And this is where I go to the property styles. Now the first one I start with is the body copy. That means that the basic text through the document. So I'll go research, body copy. Sometimes, depending on what you've done, if it doesn't come out so great, it'll have a little plus beside this. And that means there's still something affected. If that happens, you click on this little bit down here, and actually I'll see if I can give you an example. So let's say in here, I get a bit of text and change the size of it. let's see what happens now. I'll select all of this. All the way down to our lino printing section again. Copy. Nothing, that's fine. So if I zoom in, you'll see now that you can change this menu. Because it's the paragraph one, I don't have to highlight it, I can just click. So if I click here, I can go research heading. And it puts the spaces and everything in for me. So this is all good. Got all my writing. And there's this bit here called figures. So if I click on figures, figure heading, click on that, jumps up here. If I grab or click in this, doesn't matter if I highlight or I click in it, it's got figure comments. Just changed it all the way downwards to make sure. Yeah, there we go. Did need to highlight a bit more. It was just picking up that one line. Figure comments has got that. Click in here. Reference heading. So all the space and everything gets sorted out for us. Highlight all this stuff underneath. And we've got reference data blue. Goes through and it does everything for us. So the references, this is the APA referencing that relates to the text that you've written. The figures obviously relating to these pictures. You can see here, this one here, can't see the number, so just click on it. Right click or control click, or go object, arrange, send to the back. This one here is good as well. It looks like I have got an extra one there. See, I've got one, arrange, send to the back. I could have a little square around that one as well if I want to make it white. Click on the line. This will all be in the properties as well. So I can just go here, click on it and just go no, none. And click on that with the arrow key, shift on the background. So I've got both of them. Object, range, send to the back. Okay, so we can see that number. And okay, I'm going to have to stick another one in here and go through and just change these numbers. Okay, the other thing as well is with this, I've got tabs in here. So I've got tab, do the same thing here. They're all going to sit exactly the same distance away from each other. So chuck that in, tab, and same with this. Highlight this space, tab, and it's all good to go. These ones here. There we go. So this is same thing here. I can tab it if I want, or just let it run around. So I've got all of this stuff. The last little thing is I talked about paragraph styles, but I didn't talk about character. Character just means that whatever you highlight, it will change. So this one here, if I highlight figure 1, I've got an option here that says make it italic. That's pretty finicky. I don't mind whether you do that or not, but it's just whatever you highlight, it'll change it to an italic. And it will change it in that style as well. So for instance, if I go down to the blue here, changes it into italic because it's just that area that I've highlighted. Same here, want something in italic, just click it, and the spacing's jumped because it's a bit smaller, but it's just changed that to italic. So when we have a look at it, W to see it, that's all fine. The last little thing here that I suppose I can show you, these, I said before that these text boxes are linked. So if I grab this, if I slide this up, it flows over into the next box. Bring it too far down, and this flows back. So if I want figures to start up on the next line, I can just drag the box up above figures, and it'll line up here. The next one is the process. So we bring in this case, it would be a liner cut, your final liner cut that you do in here. And these 4 images show the process. So maybe a photo of your drawing, your cutting, your inking, and your printing would be an example. So if I jump to Microsoft Word, this is how the second lot works. I'll copy this text, nice and simple. Double click, I'm in the text box, paste, doing the same thing. It's going to come up looking a bit funny, so I'll select all that, paragraph. This time I'm working with the process styles. Always start with the body copy. That's all good. Now let's go and have a look. Liner cutting process, I can click in there. That will be the main heading. The figures are the subheadings. You can see it does the spacing and everything for me. This is why I don't want you to change the format and mess around. Otherwise, if you do, this doesn't work anymore, the style sheets. So we keep it nice and easy. So these ones here, figure 1, if it's your drawing, this is just going to talk about the drawing process. Figure 2, if it's your cutting, talks about that process. If we look at an area like this, if you do put a return in, depending where it is on your writing, sometimes it'll put in an extra space. So if it puts in a gap, if you want something to come directly down on the next line, you hold down the shift and hit return. It's called a soft return. So for instance, figure, if I hit return, it's going to do a big gap because that's the way it's set up. Shift return puts it directly down on the next line. Soft return. So anyway, we've got our figure 5, the final. So you'll see on here it says final heading. And that's because this one is a little bit different. If it does this and it looks a bit jumbled up, just drag it off the page and bring it down or hit Command 0. It just needs the screen to refresh. Click on this, final body, and then I probably want to start this on the next box over. So if I jump that over, there we go. We have our processing information, and then we have our final. Looks like I missed a bit of text that was outside the box, so I'll click in there, body copy final. Pop the images in, and it's all good to go.